We have some quick news. So AFCON. You heard AFCON 2022 is on right now. It started last Sunday, the 9th, and it's going to be on until the 6th of February. And as you know, Cameroon are hosting this year. And it's just the second time in history that Cameroon is hosting. Okay. And the last time they hosted was in 1972, and then Congo, they got there, they beat Congo. Yeah. And then the tournament was meant to be played in 2021, but because of the pandemic, it was being played right now. Yeah. So 5 cities across Cameroon are hosting matches during this AFCON, and Yaoundé is hosting the main ceremony, and then there will be matches in Douala and all over Cameroon. Yeah. And then there are 6 stadiums that are going to be playing matches. Now, speaking of the opening ceremonies, I was watching last Sunday and I was like, are you sure this is Cameroon? I didn't even know Cameroon had it like that. I did not know. China, are you going to show us some photos of Cameroon? I didn't know Cameroon had it like that. Like, it was so good. Like, they had Fally Ipupa performing. They had, okay, let me read what I wrote about it. So the opening ceremony took place on Sunday, 9th January at the Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé. And for this 33rd edition, the host country of the most prestigious tournament in Africa saw things on a large scale. From the outset, it revealed the facets and symbols of Cameroonian culture while involving renowned international talents. So the AFCON 2021 anthem was performed by Africa's Smile, and room was made for dance performances representing major Cameroonian cultural groups, which are Grassfields, Sawa, Fangbeti, and Sudano-Sahelian. Fally Ipupa headlined the musical show, and he made the crowd dance in the stands. And 50 years after the last Africa Cup of Nations was on its own land, Cameroon is preparing for all the festivities. And that's it. So the first act was the teams coming out. The second act was the mosaic of colors. We celebrated Cameroon. And then the fourth and fifth act were the celebration of the competition and the final concert. So it was really, really good. As you can see, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see all the colors, the different cultures of Cameroon. Can you see it, Jamila?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then they had, the stadium was great. What do you think about it? Did you watch it?
No, I did not watch it, but you sound like you didn't expect it to be that good.
No, first of all, the stadium itself, I was like, okay, this is good. It looked like it could be anywhere in the world. I hate when we say that about Africa. Mm-hmm. I didn't even look like it. Well, it looked really, really good, you know? And then the only part that was weird was the lion. There was a digital lion that came and jumped, a digital lion that jumped into the stadium and walked around and then lay down, and I was like, yeah, somebody thought that was a great idea.
Well, coincidentally, I was just reading a book the other day. I can't remember the name just now. I was reading it online, the digital book, and there was this tiger they were describing that was in the lab. It's all about artificial intelligence. Yes. So to me, it's not surprising. It's the in thing now. People have that probably pets. They keep lions and tigers as pets now.
I understand that, but it was probably finished. This lion looked like it had a bit more to go with the digital.
Was it wild?
A few more passes of whatever layers they put on it for making it look real. It was interesting looking. Let me put it that way. No, but it was great. It was a great ceremony. Nigeria won their first match, but I really hope it's going really well so far. So far, so good. Yeah, there's a bit of controversy with Tunisia and Mali. Okay. There was some. I think they're going to sue or something or try to figure. It went. The referee made some bad calls towards the end of the match.
Okay.
But but it turned out pretty good. It was don't ask me, 'cause I'm not a football fan, but he made a bad call and then they stopped the match, and then some people refused to do the match, and then he gave it to the other team. Right. So it was a weird thing. But anyway, they're going to deal with that. That's not my bag. But congratulations to all the countries that are competing. Congratulations to all the players who work in Europe or in clubs in Europe and flew back to represent their home countries. I really like that. You're working in Liverpool, like Mo Salah plays for Liverpool, and the boys from Rangers, and they've all left right now because their teams are playing without them, but they've all gone back to represent Egypt, Nigeria, Senegal. It's lovely. It's nice. Just like the Euros last year. So that was lovely. Yeah. Anyway, good luck to everyone involved, and I'll be there for the close. For me,
and they should stay safe.
Yeah, because Cameroon has some, a few issues. But the thing is, for me, for sporting events like that, for me, the opening ceremonies and the closing ceremonies, those are my thing. Right, that's where the music is and all the pageantry, and then the matches in between. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. But at the end, I'll be back to what the closing ceremony is.
Definitely, the closing ceremony is always something
amazing
to watch.
Yeah. Congratulations to Cameroon. Congratulations. All right, this one, Shimura, you don't have an opinion on this one because it's your brother that did this one. So Nigeria has lifted its ban on Twitter. Yay! Clues bombs. One more time. No, Nigeria has lifted its ban on Twitter. And so the ban was first instated on 5th of June.
Yep.
The Nigerian government has said Twitter has agreed to meet all of its demands, and these include Twitter opening a local office in Nigeria, addressing concerns over its tax payments, and managing prohibited publication in line with Nigerian law. Okay, the last condition is particularly important as the original ban was condemned by many international agencies as an act of censorship. The Nigerian government banned Twitter in 2021, just days after the company deleted a tweet by the country's president, Muhammadu Buhari, that threatened secessionists in Nigeria's southeast region. Some had interpreted the tweet as threatening genocide for its reference to the Nigerian Civil War of the 1960s. At the time, the Nigerian government had said the removal of the tweet was disappointing, but that other reasons factored into the decision to remove the ban, to lift the ban, including the spread of misinformation and fake news. Yeah. So, what do you think? It didn't affect anybody.
Well, a lot of people depend on Twitter, to get their news.
For their and for their life, their business.
Exactly, their businesses. So, I think it was a wrong move.
But at the same time, Nigeria's just got VPN. Like, nobody was off Twitter. Yeah, you banned it, but Nigeria's but what's
initially the people had mixed feelings about it, and they thought they wouldn't be able to access it.
Yes,
that was the fear.
Yes.
But when people noticed they could, life just
went on. You banned it, but people are like still using it, and you were not arresting anyone. So what was that?
No.
It was just like a power play, a show for us, and I think he had egg on his face.
I think.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you do things like that, you reinforce this idea that you're a dictator, and that's what we're trying to walk away from. It's not a good thing.
Into democracy, but then
the countries that do things like that are things. I don't want to say China because everybody uses China as an example, but like China.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, it's true. And you don't want to be a North Korea. You don't want to be that kind of government,
Yes.
But and then for what, But anyway, Twitter opened its main office in Ghana because that was really a slap in the face of the Nigerian government because we're so many.
Exactly.
And
we have the number.
We have the numbers. We have the technology, and then Ghana is more stable, and then they have better business. When you open a business, they have better incentives for businesses. So obviously, all the international companies, rather than they're bypassing Nigeria and going to Ghana.
It's been on for a long time.
Yeah,
it's something we really need to look into.
Address.
Exactly, it should be addressed.
Okay. So Twitter is back. Everybody can access Twitter. People couldn't believe it. Is it true? But Twitter is back. Yes.
That's why I wasn't too excited when you said it, because I'm like, well, people have been accessing it, but really, it's good to know they've lifted the ban. It's good to know.
All right. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna play Jamila's own song from, and what is it? Can you introduce it?
So it's actually my daughter's song. She loves the song, and it's Fever by Wizkid.
Okay, here we go. Hello, we're back, and we still have Dr. Audi here. Okay, Jamila, she says Jamila. We still have Jamila here. Right now, we're moving to some sad news, but sad but happy. Because Hollywood legend Sir Sidney Poitier has died at 94. You must have heard that in the news last week. The Bahamian American actor Sidney was an Oscar-winning Hollywood star who was known as a true trailblazer in Hollywood with more than 50 films under his belt. Poitier overcame an impoverished background in the Bahamas and softened his thick island accent to rise to the top of his profession at a time when prominent roles for black actors were rare. He won the Oscar for Best Actor in 1963's Lilies of the Field, in which he played an itinerant laborer who helps a group of nuns build a chapel. He was the first black man to win an Oscar. Many of his best-known films explored racial tensions as Americans were grappling with social changes wrought by the Civil Rights Movement. And in 1967 alone, he appeared as a Philadelphia detective fighting bigotry in a small-town Mississippi in the heat of the night, and a doctor who wins over his white fiance's skeptical parents in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Poitier's movies struggled for distribution in the American South, and his choice of roles was limited to those of white-run studios. Racial taboos, for example, precluded him from most romantic parts, but his dignified roles helped audiences of the 1950s and 1960s envision black people not just as servants, but as doctors, teachers, and detectives. At the same time, as the lone black man in the 1960s, black leading man in 1960s Hollywood, he came under tremendous scrutiny. He was too often hailed as a noble symbol of his race and endured criticism from some black people who said he had betrayed them by taking sanitized roles and pandering to whites. It's been an enormous responsibility, he told Oprah in the year 2000. And I accepted it. I lived in a way that I showed how I respected that responsibility. I had to. In order for others to come behind me, there are certain things I had to do. President Barack Obama wrote on his honoring him, through his groundbreaking roles and singular talent, Sidney Poitier epitomized dignity and grace, revealing the power of movies to bring us closer together. He also opened doors for a generation of actors. Michelle and I send our love to his family and legion of fans. So, what do you think? So, I mean, for me, Serena, can you pop his picture on the screen so I can share it with people? For me, he was somebody who was so dignified all the time. And I think that really worked in his favor, but also it was a hampering to him because he didn't have any room to like just be crazy or be different or be like a criminal in the film or like a warlord or something like that. He couldn't do any of that because in the 1950s he was basically carrying the entire black race on his head in the movies. There were no leading men. He was the only leading man for almost when you watch a film from the 50s or 60s, they either like gangsters, criminals or whatever in the black productions, or in the white productions they were like servants or drivers or whatever roles. He was like a romantic lead or leading man and all of that, and it was so hard for them to accept it. But because he was so dignified and so cool and so classy, it was easier. It's almost like you had to make yourself that perfect person in order to be accepted. What do you think?
I think he wanted to make a point, that we could do this, and that's why he stuck to it, and it just went with his character.
It does. He did have a natural class.
So over time, I think he got used to it, and he didn't just want to take any other rule because he could have, afterwards, when he quite opened up to black people, but he was just comfortable in that role, and it suited him,
It did. No doubt about it. He was super elegant, super classy,
said, he was really
well spoken, dignified, and he came from Bahamas, and so he had that that twang. Where he said, I remember reading many years ago, about 30 years ago, saying when I was like 2, saying that he he was listening to the radio, listening to the radio, and he was practicing with the radio, and that's how he got his American accent. Or even you can listen if you listen to him, you can hear the island in him. But he kind of tried to change it, and he came at age 15 to America by himself because in Bahamas they're working on a farm or something like that.
So he left. It was quite easy for him. I think because he was quite young, it was easier for him to just blend in. Even though you said you could hear, but you had to really listen because you have that ear.
You could hear it. Sidney Poitier, rest in peace. I remember what's my favorite film of his? Well, I came to him late because I knew of him as the first black man who got an Oscar. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. That was the famous ones. But for me, I don't know if you guys ever watched the movies he did with Bill Cosby in the 70s.
Yes.
Uptown Saturday Night.
Yes.
And oh my God, those were they're comedies. So Bill Cosby was like the crazy one, and then he was like the straight man. But he still had like a comedic bone in him. Great films, really great films. It's a shame that Bill Cosby has ruined his legacy now because those were like really incredible films. Uptown Saturday Night. Oh my God, it was so
really
good.
Love them. People look forward to watching the show.
So I did see him as a fun person. He did have a bit of fun in him. He wasn't always I'm so elegant and great. Sometimes he had a little bit of play in him.
I think he liked the role and he just stuck to it. People saw him like that. He didn't want to give them any
rest in peace. But 94 is a good age. 94 is a good age.
A life well lived.
And when Denzel Washington got the Oscar for Training Day, he was there that night. So Denzel was like the second black man to get a main actor. Denzel already had an Oscar for Glory, but a supporting actor. This is the first black man, the second black man, to get lead actor role, Oscar. So Sydney was there that night, and that was the same night Halle Berry got her Oscar as well. So it was really cool. She was the first black woman to get a Best Actress. So that was a great night. So you probably weren't even born by then, Serena. She's smiling, but it's true. Anyway, here we go. Ready to celebrate the wonderful Sidney Poitier. Here is Rock by Olamide. Rest in peace, sir. All right, for our next story, we are going to Serena's homeland of Kenya. Are you going to give a clues bomb for that? Right, so this is the big one. Americans in trouble with Kenyans. Yes. What happened? What did they do? Let's find out what they did. So, US fast food chain KFC has triggered an online furore in Kenya after it ran out of chips, with local Twitter users threatening a boycott because it does not use locally sourced potatoes. You love our chips a little too much and we've run out. Sorry, KFC admitted on Twitter this week, offering its customers various alternatives. The franchise's regional boss, Jacques Timisson, said it had become the latest casualty of the global shipping disruptions caused by the coronavirus pandemic. It has to do with delays in shipping lines due to COVID-19, he told the local news. He said KFC was hoping to resolve the shortage with the expected arrival of a container load of potatoes this week. But it was his admission that the company does not source potatoes from local farmers that ignited a Twitter storm among Kenyans. All suppliers need to go through the global quality assurance approval process, and we cannot bypass that even if we run out to ensure that our food is safe for consumption by our customers. With the news coming during Kenya's potato harvesting season, many took to social media to call for people to snub the fast food giant and boycott KFC was trending on Twitter. If you're a true Kenyan, you should not eat chips prepared by KFC. Eat chips elsewhere, one Twitter user said. The fried chicken franchise entered the Kenyan market in 2011 and has 35 outlets across the East African region. Kenya grows more than 60 varieties of potatoes, with farmers struggling currently with a glut. That means it's a lot. In an apparent U-turn, KFC said on Tuesday that it had initiated plans to source potatoes from Kenyan farmers, adding it was already doing so for other goods such as poultry, vegetables, etc. KFC's competitors were quick to take advantage of the gaffe to promote their own chips, with Burger King Kenya tweeting, "We have enough fries for everyone." So, what do you think? Like, I mean, it's funny because I get it. I do get it from both sides. So they have a quality assurance system.
Yes.
Okay, and they haven't vetted the farmers to make sure it's safe, quote unquote. But potatoes are potatoes are potatoes. What is going to be unsafe? Just wait. Yes. You know, so a lot of local farmers were really upset because they have so much and they have nowhere to. It's rotten. There's nowhere to sell it.
Yeah.
You know, KFC is importing container loads of potatoes into Kenya. What do you think?
Well,
you're in finance, aren't you? So you know about this stuff.
Yeah. So you know, when you talk about using potatoes, I mean, like you said, the potatoes, even if they're going to go,
there's nothing added. There's no additive.
Yes, but of course they want to be sure of the sauce and all that. But these are things that can be done in no time because you have them readily available.
Exactly.
That, you know, yes, with the pandemic, we have issues with procurement, supply chain, and all that. But then this simplifies it. The farmers they are actually growing potatoes.
And 60 different types, and they have a glut. A glut means it's too much. They grew too much.
Yes,
so they have enough to supply you.
Exactly, they have more than enough to supply.
And so when you're importing from abroad, that means you're importing from potato growing areas like the UK, like Ireland.
And it's going to be more expensive, you know, to sell to the locals.
Yes,
so
of
it
course.
just doesn't make sense. Their best bet is, I think I agree with people saying they should boycott them, you know, because doing that will make them source from.
But I think they took, because social media is so strong these days, I think they really went with it because now they say they're in talks with local farmers to make sure.
That's better. That's why we should be allowed to speak out.
Oh, yes, because change happens. Change happens.
And that's the most important thing. These days, you have to go with the change.
I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know, honestly don't know what they're thinking. So do you have an opinion? Martin, do you have an opinion on this? Do you guys have an opinion on this? Because, I mean, they had local farmers who have lots, and then they were importing a container load of potatoes into Kenya when they are farmers because they haven't gone to the quality, you know, assurance procedure. What do you think?
Surely it's just potatoes. You know,
it's not like they're adding chemicals to it and they have to make sure all the chemicals are okay.
I mean, like, people in Kenya don't eat their own potatoes. Is someone getting sick from potatoes?
Thank you.
So what's the issue, you know? But I remember I was in Kenya when actually the first KFC opened in Nairobi. I was there. And it was such a craze.
And everybody was going.
And then that first KFC, they found... Let me tell you, they found worms in that chicken.
No! Get out!
I'm telling you. And people were queuing.
Oh, no.
Were queuing for opening day.
Quality. They didn't check. They didn't do that one. They missed that one.
And people were queuing for that KFC to open.
When Germany's open, we had a party in Nigeria.
Nah, that's too much though.
So potatoes are like the purest thing. I mean, Martin, what do you think?
I've actually got a bit of history with KFC.
Oh, okay.
Where obviously the UK ran out of chicken at one point.
Yes, I remember that.
Which makes no sense that a chicken restaurant can't figure out chicken. But I have also been given salmonella and C. diff from KFC.
What is going on?
I'm not sure if they're quality assuring the staff.
Thank you. Maybe oh my goodness. So they go through all of that. People are getting worms and chicken, salmonella.
Yeah,
but yet
I think
Kenyan potatoes are the problem.
In the past, really serious about the quality assurance.
Alright, there's the case to make
but
for
then
that.
the bureaucracy are just too many.
I think so.
Too many.
I'm not trusting local farmers.
Exactly. I think they're just promoting other businesses. They need to look into that.
Yeah.
I think there's more to it than
but I trust Kenyans. Kenyans are not playing around. They're like, quit. Don't boycott them now. And it worked. Okay, all right. We're going to come back with a story that is also close to Jamila's heart as well. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. But here is High by Adekunle Gold featuring Davido. In the meantime, we'll be back in a few minutes. All right. Okay. So, Jamila, you ready for this next story?
Go ahead.
This is a good one. So, Martin, listen to this. A female soldier has been arrested in Nigeria for accepting a marriage proposal while on duty. She breached the military's code of conduct by indulging in a romance while in uniform. And that's what the army spokesman said. A video emerged last week of the soldier accepting a ring from a man kneeling in front of her, while onlookers shared in their joy. A woman rights group has accused the military of discriminating against her. Similar action has not been taken against male soldiers involved in a public display of amorous relationships in full military uniform. That's a mouthful. The Women Empowerment and Legal Aid Group said. Human rights activist and former Nigerian presidential candidate Sowore condemned the army's decision as misogynistic. The soldier has accepted the marriage had accepted the marriage proposal from a trainee in the government's youth training scheme known as the NYSC, the National Youth Service Corps. As part of the year-long mandatory scheme, graduates from universities and other higher learning institutions get instruction from the army. The marriage proposal was made during a training program in Western Kwara State. It's unclear when it happened, but a video of it emerged last week. Many social media users congratulated the couple and praised the man for proposing, and others teased the soldier. Army spokesman General Clement Nwachukwu told the BBC last week that the soldier had flouted the military's code of conduct as well as its social media policy. And her conduct was prejudicial to good order and military discipline. The trainer's task was to train the youth corps members and not indulge in amorous relationships with any of them, General Nwachukwu said. Okay, Jamila, this is your bag because you come from a military background. So, what do you think? What in your world? What is that? Is it wrong to be in uniform and then accept a proposal or propose to somebody?
Love doesn't know uniform.
I know, but there's a code of conduct that says when you're in uniform you can't do this.
So is it different for men and women? Because I think I need to go and read that code of conduct. And
I think it's not different. I think it's not different.
But I know a lot of soldiers that have proposed to their girlfriends or
in their uniform.
Yes.
So why was she arrested?
Why is this different? Because it went viral. Because he's a youth corporate.
Yeah, and there was a video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's a
I think my issue is not even with the fact that she got a proposal while in uniform. My issue is the fact that her trainer is the guy who proposed to her. Like, excuse me? You were there to train them, not to propose. Who proposed to who? The trainer.
The boy proposed to her, to the soldier lady.
The trainer, the boy in the NYSC proposed to the soldier.
The copper, yes. What's wrong with that? I don't understand.
But there's a power imbalance. There's a power imbalance there.
How?
Because
but they're human beings. He fell in love with his trainer. She's the trainer.
No, I don't agree.
He fell in love with her.
Nah, I don't agree. No.
Okay.
No,
please make me understand.
Anyway, she's accepted and she did it in uniform. So
not only was you agree. Why don't you agree?
Because there's a power imbalance.
They're adults.
Yeah, but he was a student like 6 months ago.
He's not a student.
He was.
He was, but he was no longer a student at that point in time when he proposed to her.
Okay, all right, okay, fine. It's agreeable. But at the same time, she knows the conduct. She knows she's not meant to do certain things while in uniform. So she got carried away, I think. She didn't plan it. It was a surprise. He planned it.
Yes, it was a surprise. It came as a surprise. So, I mean, it was just her emotions. She accepted him as a person.
Yeah, but you're a soldier. When you're a soldier,
she's a human being first.
Yes, but you're a soldier. Come on.
Someone proposed to her. Do you know how long she's been waiting to find the right time?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you want to meet you want to have the right partner in life, and he came.
I don't know.
You know, he just came out of the blues. It wasn't planned.
I don't know. Serena, what do you think?
Me too, baby. I don't understand what your issue is.
Really?
Because at the end of the day, that's her job, right?
Yes.
So if you come and propose to me at my workplace.
Yeah, but there's some things that you can't do. Like for me, when I'm a lawyer, right? When I'm in my weekend gown, I can't eat. Like there's things that I can't do. When you're a chief in the village, there's some things you can't eat in public. You can't do certain things. So there's certain things you can't do when in a particular uniform. You're carrying the mantle of that office on you. So the code of conduct says when you're in full military uniform, you can't do certain things. You have to remember you can't do certain things.
Stop there a second. What do you mean you can't eat?
Yeah, you can't eat. You can't be seen eating in public when you're in certain
Why?
uniform. Because that's the rule. I don't know why people don't think it's dignified.
I know, but like that's a rule. But
Yeah,
like,
you can eat in private, but you can't just stand there your weekend gown.
Yes,
eat it
but
up.
what sense
Then
does it make?
she also didn't plan for him to
It's
propose to her.
dignity. It's dignity. If we remove all these things, what do we have left, guys? What do we have
But
left?
she didn't plan it, Bibi.
Yeah, but I
I just
don't.
walked up to her and he proposed. Do you understand?
I don't know. I don't think she should have been arrested. I don't think she should have been arrested, but I think she has to remember I'm a soldier.
So what she should have done?
My
What
guy,
she should have
chill.
done?
I'll see you later.
Yeah, what would you do if you were in her
I'll
place?
see you later. I don't even propose.
So she
to
should
you in public.
embarrass
Don't
him.
try that nonsense.
So she should embarrass him in public.
I hate public proposals already. Maybe I'm coming from a bias.
Yeah,
I hate public
I
proposals.
think it's very romantic.
What are you going to say?
Martin, what do you think?
I kind of agree with Bibi.
Thank you.
Well, more than anything else, if she was training him, he should have known about the code of conduct.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, that process, Bibi herself has gone through it. I've gone through it, and I've never heard about it. So it means they've
It's
never
a
told her.
ridiculous code of conduct,
Yes,
but
it
if
is.
she was
But
training him,
he wasn't
then
told. The boy
he should have
didn't
known.
know. Apparently, because I don't know, and I went through the same training. We all
Okay, he didn't know.
So in Nigeria, once you graduate from the university or from any
Higher institution.
higher institution,
You have a year.
You go through a program. It's called the National Youth
Service Corps.
and you're supposed to serve the government for a year, and the government pays you monthly, till the end of the program. So you've graduated from either university or polytechnic, and you're going to do this training, and your trainer proposed to you. They fell in love. There was nothing. It was just a natural
How did they
thing.
even fall in love? Where did they meet? How did they fall in love?
All it takes
What
is
was
a
they
look.
doing?
For some people, you don't have to go out with someone to fall in love with the person.
I'm not happy. She should have remembered her code of conduct.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah, there are rules for a reason. Rules exist for a reason. We keep flouting
there's
the
always
rules.
an exception.
In this generation, y'all want to film everything and put on TikTok. That's the problem. Is the
She
TikTok
didn't know he was
generation.
going to
No,
propose
but
to her.
wait, rules exist for a reason, but not all rules make sense.
No, they don't.
Some rules exist for a reason. Some rules
Selena.
don't exist for any reason.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay, fight
I totally
it.
agree.
Fight it, but don't fight it that day. Fight it in court or
She wasn't
at,
trying to fight it. She didn't even know this guy was coming to propose. He just
Congratulations to
came.
the
And I'm
happy
like,
couple.
oh, I can just imagine it happening.
happy for
And if
them.
it happens
I
again,
hope-
I will accept it.
I hope when she was cooling her heels in jail, she remembered.
No, there was
And
just no
Egyptian-
reason for them to arrest her. That was just.
You know how the military are now.
No,
They
no,
don't
no, no.
propose
That was
things.
crazy. That was crazy.
Anyway, here is Soldier by Sydney and Fowles. So Jamila is still upset.
I am.
She's still
I am.
upset about the whole
I can't
soldier proposal
believe-
thing.
I can't believe, you're having this reaction. yourself.
I think rules are
It's
rules. If
unbelievable.
the code of conduct said don't do certain things when you're in uniform, then don't do certain things when
She
you're in
didn't do
uniform.
anything.
If you want to fight the code of conduct, fight it another
She
on
wasn't
your own
trying
time.
to fight it. She wasn't living in denial. She didn't know the boy was going to propose.
Everybody should behave themselves. Everybody should behave themselves. I stop
So
filming
she
everything.
should have denied it.
No, maybe they shouldn't have filmed it. Maybe that would have been better. Because the
She
military
shouldn't
was
have been
embarrassed.
filming, but you know how these things go. You don't know who is filming what. Someone just brought out his phone and started
Yeah.
filming. It wasn't planned.
Yeah.
For goodness sake.
Anyway,
Oh dear.
let's go to Mali.
And
We're going to Mali. Who wants to go to Mali? All right, West African nations are going to close their borders with Mali. Okay, they're going to sever diplomatic ties and impose tough economic sanctions in response to its unacceptable delay in holding elections following the 2020 military coup. Okay, and they announced that last week. Fresh measures from ECOWAS represent a significant hardening of its stance towards Mali, whose interim authorities have proposed holding elections in December 2025 instead of this February as originally agreed with ECOWAS. In a communique issued after an emergency summit in Accra, ECOWAS said it found the proposed timetable for a transition to power to be totally unacceptable. This schedule simply means that an illegitimate military transition government will take the Malian people hostage, ECOWAS added. The organization said it had agreed to impose additional sanctions with immediate effect. These included the closure of members' land and air borders with Mali, the suspension of non-essential financial transactions, the freezing of Malian state assets in ECOWAS commercial banks, and recalling their ambassadors from Bamako. Meanwhile, Regional Monetary Union EUMOA instructed all financial institutions under its umbrella to suspend Mali with immediate effect, severing the country's access to regional financial markets. The Malian interim government said it was astonished by the decisions. In response, it vowed to close its side of the border with ECOWAS, recall its ambassadors, and reserve the right to consider its membership in ECOWAS. The government strongly condemned these illegal and illegitimate sanctions, it said in a statement, and it was read by spokesperson Abdoulaye Maiga in the early hours of Monday last week, calling on Malians to remain calm. Special Forces Commander Assimi Goïta was one of several colonels who overthrew Malian President Boubacar Ibrahim Keïta in August 2020. Afterwards, its interim authorities proposed an 18-month transition to civilian rule. Goïta staged a second coup in May 2021 when he pushed aside the interim president and took the job himself. The tougher response from ECOWAS reflects the pressure the organization is under to show it can protect democracy from a backslide in military rule after West and Central Africa saw 4 coups in 18 months. The new measures will gradually be lifted only after an acceptable election timeframe is finalized and progress is made towards implementing, ECOWAS said. All right, so on the previous sanctions, Mali's ECOWAS membership is suspended and members of the Transition Authority and their relatives are subject to travel bans and asset freezes. Whew, it's a big one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's not. I understand what ECOWAS is doing because I remember when the coup happened, and they said, okay, the former president was horrible, he was a dictator and all that, and the military came and said we're saving Mali and all that. Okay, it was tricky. We're like, what are you doing? No, don't worry about it. We're just gonna come in temporarily, and then in 18 months we're gonna transition. And then just like the story has played over, tale as old as time, you taste a little power and you're like,
you want to
18 months now. Let's do 2025.
Yeah.
But I don't think they expected this kind of strong response. But I think the West is really stressing the West African countries, and they too want to protect democracy. So these are like massive sanctions, massive. So I don't know if it's going to have an effect, and they're going to change their mind and agree to the terms, or they're going to just be nah, we're going to thug it out.
I'm really, really hoping they will agree to the terms and, just do what they need to do and move on, because these sanctions are going to destroy the country.
They're
going
huge.
to destroy the country.
They're huge.
No finances,
and also travel bans on your relatives,
travel bans,
asset freezes,
border
closes. Border closures and all of that.
The border closures and the asset freeze. I'm sure it's going to cost Mali a lot. So they're better off, having these discussions and keeping to their words and just leaving the office. African people in power saving face. I know, but it's not just about them. They need to think about the people, because the masses are going to suffer.
A lot. People's businesses already. Some people are stranded. I've heard some Malians who went home for Christmas
and they can't
from America,
and they
can't go back home. Go back to America. People are stranded already. People are stranded.
Yeah, people are stranded, and then of course they're going to be burdens to other people, and then to other government. And
they're feeling it already. I don't know. I'll keep on the story, guys, and I'll come back and I'll let you know what's happening in Mali. Hopefully we'll have better news next week. All right. No. We're going to stop all stories because it's time for Spying Serena and Jamila. Yes, don't worry. You will like it. Yeah, we have almost no time, but I really want to do this one. So if we have time, I'll come back and do the rest of the stories. Otherwise, we'll do them next week. But right now, it's time for Spying with Serena. Do we have a theme tune yet? Da, 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 da. Right, I was going to read out the entire story before I ask for you guys' opinions. Martin, you come in on this as well, but there's no time, so I'm just going to tell you what happened. Okay, so the question today is Claudio Formenton. Have you guys heard of Claudio Formenton?
No.
Okay, so my question today is: he a victim or a dummy? And I'm going to tell you why, and you're going to tell me what you think, victim or dummy. So Claudio, I think he's about 50-something years old. He's from Italy, and he's meant to be, he's 64 actually. He's 64. He's from Italy, and he's meant to be some kind of priest, kind of like missionary type guy. And he said he was going to where was he going? Ivory Coast.
Okay.
He was going to Ivory Coast and he was going to preach the word and save souls and go do missionary work and do God's work and all of that. So he flew from Italy, got to Ivory Coast, and he had his name. Someone holding his name. They picked him up and promptly kidnapped him. And then they flew him from place to place to place. Eventually, they told his family to raise money, and then the Italian special forces were linked with the Ivorian special forces, and then the Ivorian special forces rescued him and flew him back to Italy.
Oh,
now, come to find out, Claudio was actually catfished because he was following the girl he met online, and he went to Ivory Coast to meet her. Okay, an Ivorian girl. He wasn't going to preach the word of God. He wasn't going to spread the word of God. He met a girl online, had been chatting with her and all of that, and he went to Ivory Coast to go meet her. But apparently she doesn't exist because it was a catfish situation, and as soon as he arrived, they kidnapped him. So, and apparently they've done it to other people as well. That particular girl has been, her name is Olivia Martin, and apparently she doesn't exist, but she chats with many other guys as well. So God knows how many people they've kidnapped, but in his case, he was rescued, but they've suspended him from the parish in Italy. So my question is it a victim or is he a dummy? What do you get? Serena's like, I want this. All right, girl. What do you think?
I think let's absorb that story. Go on a quick music break and tell you what we think about it right after.
That's a very good idea. Go for it. Serena's choice.
Yes. No, not my choice. It's your choice.
No, I'll put Serena's choice.
Oh, really?
Or we can just play. Okay, I'll choose. So let's play Zazu by Portable featuring Alamide. That's a popular one right now as well. Hello, we're back. This is still BB's African News Magazine show on Jambo Radio, and we still have the amazing Dr. Audu. We have Serena, we have Martin, and this is Sparring with Serena. That segment, we're in part 2, but we're still doing Sparring with Serena. So the story was, you heard the story before we went on the break, and that was an Italian businessman, Claudio Formenton, from Serena's other land, and he flew from Italy to Ivory Coast to help save souls as a missionary and to do God's work. Come to find out, they actually went to meet a girl who never existed, fake profile, and he was kidnapped. And then the Italian government had to liaise with the Ivorian government and send Ivorian soldiers at their risk to go rescue him and fly him back to Italy. So the question was, Claudio, was he a victim of kidnapping and of love, or was he a dummy to think, I've never met a girl, I'm going to go to Ivory Coast and meet her, and I got kidnapped? So, victim or dummy? Let's start with Serena.
Oh, bless him. No, you know what it is? I think I don't trust this type of stories.
Right.
If someone came up to me and was like, oh, I met someone online, I'm going to another continent to meet them, I'm like, hey, no.
Chances are so few.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
But it's possible, though.
But I've seen it happen. I've seen people go across continents to meet somebody, and that somebody was there, and it was all good. But would I do it? No, because my common sense tells me no.
Trouble no good. Yeah, but going to find out it's fake is one thing, but to be kidnapped on top of it, that's a lot. What do you think?
Well, Serena got me laughing because she said her common sense won't allow her to do that. And then I remember my daughter always says one thing: common sense is not common.
It's not common at all.
Yes, it's not. It's not. The fact he's a priest, you would think he'll be more cautious. Of course, you don't expect.
It's not a priest. It's kind of like affiliated with the church, not a priest per se.
So if he's just affiliated with the church, it could be, genuinely he fell in love with someone online. But because of the stories we've heard over the years, it would be foolish to just go with the flow. You want to do a bit of check. Someone.
There's nothing wrong to fall in love with somebody online.
There's nothing wrong with that. I've seen it. It has happened to my cousin. My cousin just got married to someone she has been dating for years. They met online and all that. He went from Italy, coincidentally.
Italian men and black
no. He's actually a Nigerian, but he lives. He's actually a Nigerian. So it happens.
There's a thing. I don't know what it is, but there's a thing.
But in his own case, of course, he did a lot of checks. So he sent a friend to go and meet her. Sent his family friends, and so he could have done that. He should have put other checks in place before flying all the way from Italy to Ivory Coast. I mean, in this day and age, what kind of love, and then
No, go ahead. No, I'm talking
sorry.
about it.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because if they had maybe video calls or something, and they were using a particular.
Oh, they do that. They do that. Yeah.
Oh,
I've
really?
seen that.
So
They have girls. The video calls. They have a girl who will be the person.
Okay.
It's terrible.
But well, it is what.
So
it is,
victim or dummy?
None.
Really?
Yes, none.
You have to choose one.
I don't have to choose one. Well, he's not really a victim. He is a victim, but a bit tilting towards a dummy because he didn't, do some checks. That's it. But,
okay, so checks.
Yeah.
Marcy, you're the young man in the room. You're not married, are you?
No.
So the world is your oyster right now. You can get a girlfriend from Argentina, from Brazil, from China, from Australia, from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. The world is literally your oyster, right? So what do you think? Victim or dummy?
I think he's a victim of his own stupidity.
That's more
explain.
Where it's one of those things where everyone thinks that it won't happen to them until it happens to them. But to go all the way to the Ivory Coast from Italy,
I mean, people have done it. I know people who have done it, and
everyone
they've met
thinks
the
that
girl.
they're the special person.
Yeah. I mean, I know people who have met, like, there's that show, I don't watch it, but I heard about 90 Day Fiancé, and some of them have never met. Yeah, some of them have never met these people. Like, they've been talking, and the first time the camera crew goes with them to meet the person, is the first time they're literally meeting the person in real life. And then they spend time and then all that stuff. What?
Also, 90 Day Fiancé, they're going with the whole camera crew.
They're not going to get kidnapped.
Exactly.
With the TV shows, there is a whole vetting thing that happens before
to make sure on the other side.
Yeah.
But they haven't met. Like, they actually haven't met. Some of them have never met.
But it's slightly different to...
Maybe.
Yeah, they
on
should have
Facebook.
arranged for her to meet him, in the airport. And when he didn't see her, that should have raised.
Yeah, entered the car. They had his name on the car card.
They didn't come with a gun, at that point.
No, of course not. No.
He left with them willingly,
yes.
from the airport.
But then, what is love then? If we don't trust and we don't try, what is love? Like,
it is.
You're not going to try?
Yes.
I mean, even dating is an extreme sport. Like, if you ask me, dating is an extreme sport because you're meeting strangers you don't know, and you're going out into places with them with nobody. So anything happens to you, but we date all the time here in real life. So what's the difference?
And there's plenty of horror stories here in real life.
But we do it though.
Still.
We do
but
it.
you do it with caution,
Some people don't. So I'm going to date with a guy, a restaurant somewhere. What are you doing? Like, if you really think about it, dating is
If
bizarre.
you're seeing videos of her, then it's understandable that he felt he has met someone, he wants to go all the way from Italy to Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
But he should have just been a bit more cautious.
Because even, I don't know, among my
peers.
circle, among my peers, if someone is going to meet somebody that they've never met before, it's like shared location, you're bringing, I don't know, whistle, you're bringing... so many, so many cautions are taken, even to go somewhere that's like, I live here and I'm going 20 minutes.
Because the world has changed. It wasn't like that. Before, you could go see a guy randomly somewhere.
Yeah.
The world has changed. You can't do that anymore. What do you say?
I'm just wondering if he didn't have any friends or family he could have run her by.
Like they say,
and when,
like you said it. Everybody thinks I'm the special one. Everybody thinks I'm the special one. So, but there are some special ones. Let's. I don't want to say it's not possible. There are some special ones. I know stories. Like I know a girl in my village. I swear to God, she had been talking to this guy in Sweden or something. I'm not talking about Lagos or Port. My village, Abonima. The guy came with her. They talked so much. He came to marry her. Like. He came with his mom, his dad, everything. They came for the wedding. So the guy who told me was the bishop. Our bishop told me he had just done the wedding and he was still in shock. He was still in shock because this girl had been texting somebody in another country, and after like a few months or a year, the person came with their family and they married her, and now she's gone. And he was still like, when he was telling me, he was still like
in shock.
Yeah, I just did the wedding. It was he couldn't believe it. He was the priest. So these things they happen. They happen. It's just So consensus: victim or dummy?
I think I agree with Martin. Victim of his own stupidity.
Yeah, being a victim doesn't mean you're not a dummy.
Okay, so both.
I feel for him.
Claudio.